All right, are you guys ready for a brand new DCU update? This is going to be interesting. So, Zachary Levi broke his silence and posted a 15-minute long video on Instagram about the future of Shazam and about the new head of the DC Universe, Peter Safran and James Gunn. So let's talk about all this. Now, before I talk about Zachary Levi and what he said in his video, and I did watch the whole thing, it's very interesting that they are starting to promote both The Flash and Blue Beetle. And they announced that the Flash movie is going to have its first official trailer right around the Super Bowl. So we can expect to see that here in about a month or so. So we will see the first trailer coming up pretty soon. On top of that, with Blue Beetle, they gave the Blue Beetle an interesting tagline. The tagline for the movie is, "This is just the beginning." So a lot of people are taking that as that is the first official brand new movie in the DC universe as, Safran and Gunn take over. And I don't know what this is going to do for The Flash or especially Aquaman 2, if people are going to want to go see those movies or not. I'm just inclined to kind of wait until they come out on video and purchase them to add to my collection to be done supporting what is happening down there at DC and at Warner Brothers Discovery. So let's talk about what Zachary Levi posted on Instagram. And I highly encourage you guys to go there and watch his video. I'm not going to post the video here. You never know what copyright rules and things will change in the future to where I could probably show clips, but I'm not even going to go that far. I don't want to take the time to do the editing on that. I'm just going to bring you guys the information and then tell you what my take is on it. So in his 15-minute long video, he talked a lot about seaweed, root beer, his phone number getting put out there on the interwebs, and people harassing him. But the major part of his talk was the DC Universe. And he said right now there's a lot of disinformation out there by a bunch of hateful people online where they're just spreading rumors and misinformation, and that they don't understand what is happening behind the scenes. Well, of course we don't know what's happening behind the scenes because we can only see what has been revealed to us. And what has been revealed thus far is that our favorite actors have been fired from their positions in the DC Universe, and they are no longer going to be part of the DC movies. So, yeah, you have to expect people are going to be pretty angry about this. He goes on to say how Peter Safran has been his boss for a while, that he loves both of these guys. He actually talked about his love for Hamada and that he would love to follow Hamada wherever Hamada goes. That was kind of an interesting comment, and because nobody likes Hamada. Now, there have been some things released recently that kind of back up that Hamada was actually going to do a crisis event and bring Henry Cavill back as Superman down the line, but nobody knew this, and nobody knew what was happening behind the scenes, and it looked like nothing other than a holy freaking mess that Warner Brothers was doing under Hamada. So, obviously, we know they were going to replace Batman with Batgirl and Superman with Supergirl, and nobody wanted this. And, again, they were going to lead to this crisis event, but nobody wants your main characters to be taken out of the mix when we've only had one film for one of those characters and not even a film for the second one in the universe. So there are reasons for people to be kind of upset about this stuff. But he gave nothing but praise to Hamada. And then he goes on to talk about how James Gunn and Peter Safran is the producer on Shazam. And as far as he knows, he's still Shazam and will be for the foreseeable future if the movie does well. He's very proud of the film. He talked about how it is much better than the first, and it may even win over fans who didn't like the first one, so you should give it a shot. And I'm going to talk about what this all sounds like to me at the end. And he says he has not had any exit discussions with anybody down there at Warner Brothers Discovery, that he is still the character, and that when his tenure is over, he hopes people will follow him onto whatever he does next. I do like him as a person. I like him as an actor. I love the show Chuck. He's done well as Shazam. I really enjoyed that first movie quite a bit. And I'm eager to see the second one, but I don't know if I'm going to go to the movies to see it unless I get to see it early and get to a screening. But, it's interesting. He also went on to kind of knock David Ayer's Suicide Squad, which I think is funny because nobody has actually seen David Ayer's Suicide Squad. And he talked about how James Gunn knows exactly what he's doing and that he has a plan and that nobody knows what it is. He sounds like he tried to make it sound like he knew what was going to happen and that there's a purpose. He kept saying there's a purpose behind everything. And it's what we have to understand is those films under Zack Snyder and David Ayer, they just didn't bring in enough of the general audience into the universe, which I could prove is not true. I've shown this on a graphic before, that it is a fact that more people went to see Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Aquaman than anything after that. That's where they lost them, because they didn't follow through, because Superman was absent, Batman was absent. That's what caused that problem. And it was the fact that the studios got involved with the movies and ruined the movies before they ever hit the theater. But more people bought tickets and more butts were in the seats for those earlier films. It's just a fact. And in fact, Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad was a box office bomb. It did not do well. Black Adam did way better than Suicide Squad did. It's a fact. And, people could say we were in the middle of a pandemic. They had it on HBO Max. But the thing is, there were several other films on HBO Max at the time that got released day and date at the theater, and they did better at the theater than Suicide Squad did. So it is a fact that people lost interest because of the direction that Hamada and everybody was going. It had nothing to do with Zack Snyder. So here's how I view what Zachary Levi said. He sounds like a lying politician. He sounds like an American politician up there saving grace, saying, go see my movie. It's good. And he's trying to calm the water so that his film does well. That's what it comes down to. They want to make it sound like these next 4 films are part of the bigger overall picture, and I don't think they are. I think he is done playing Shazam. I think everybody is done going forward, and it's going to be interesting to see what James Gunn does in regards to Suicide Squad, his wife, Amanda Waller, and some of these other characters, because it wouldn't make sense to keep them and get rid of everybody else. It just wouldn't. And it still remains to be seen what they're going to do with that. But he sounds like a lying politician, a typical politician up there just trying to save grace to the people so that his movie does well, when in fact it's probably not going to do well. I do not foresee the next 4 films doing very well at all. I think The Flash might be probably the best film. I think people are going to be curious as to what's going to happen. And I do believe that's where it is going to kick off the new DC universe in a different timeline. And so here's what I am speculating is going to happen. Based on the comments that I've seen Zachary Levi make, based on the comments of both Henry Cavill and also Dwayne Johnson, I do believe we are going to see these characters again in the future in some sort of crisis event. They all are saying similar things in regards to, being let go or what is happening, that there's a bigger picture going on. And I do think The Flash they're going to use that movie as a springboard to kind of go in a different timeline, and we're going to spend some time in this new timeline, and that's what they're going to build upon. I don't know how they're going to address the whole Flash issue, but things are definitely going to be erased, and they may end up claiming that the new DCU is Earth 1, and that Zack Snyder's Earth was an alternate Elseworlds kind of world, and have it off to the side. Now, it's very interesting. There have been a lot of comments coming from James Gunn on Twitter. He's very active. He said there's going to be a lot. He's actually in communication with Jim Lee, and they're going to help the comics and the movies all mesh together. And that he's taking inspiration from Justice League Unlimited as well as the Legion of Superheroes, the cartoons that came out, 15, 20 years ago. And he is looking to kind of make everything more cohesive, which does sound enticing, but I'm not convinced that he's the right guy to lead all of this, especially with him writing the script for Superman. I do not want to see adolescent jokes. I don't want to see a freaking Clark Kent in a bathroom jerking off or whatever James Gunn thinks is going to be funny. If you look at the dialogue he had at the end of Peacemaker, I thought it was in bad taste with Zack Snyder's characters. I just don't see him being the right person for the job, and he's got to prove otherwise because everything he's done up to this point makes it seem like he's kind of a jerk who just wants to do his own thing, and he doesn't care about the fans. Now, they say they want to bring in the general audience. They lost a lot of the fans. It's the fans that, in the end of the day, it's the fans of these franchises and these characters that will go and watch movies multiple times, whereas the average audience goes to see a movie once. So it seems to me that they're trading off the fans for a general audience, which I don't think is going to turn out very well for them. I really don't. When you have something like Star Wars, you have something like Indiana Jones, you have something like DC Comics, you have to cater to the fans. You have to. They're the ones that pay for the tickets and see things over and over and over and over again. And if you are not making those people happy, your brand is definitely going to suffer. All right, so what are your guys' thoughts on Zachary Levi's video? I would love to hear what people think. I don't see anything that is putting the future in a positive light just yet. We're going to have to wait and see what James Gunn and Peter Safran do at the beginning of the year. They are going to release give us some news on a few projects early next year, and I do look forward to covering all of it, and we're going to see where this goes. Maybe they'll surprise us. I don't know. I am open to, things getting better, but I don't see how that's possible when you take the most liked character, Henry Cavill as Superman, and just throw it away when we never even got a Man of Steel 2, and everybody, I can tell you that movie right now would have made so much money. A Batman-Superman film, world's finest movie, would do incredibly well. A Trinity film would do incredibly well. But man, how Warner Brothers has just been run by morons for a very long time, and I don't think that is going to change. But hey, maybe we'll be surprised. We will see here in the future. All right, we will see you guys on the next video.